Hello, leaders. Welcome back to the Center for Legacy Driven Leadership's Mentoring Leadership video series. I hope you're enjoying it and really linking in and catching on to the fact that leadership is all around us. And mentoring leadership is so important because you are transferring your wisdom, your knowledge, your nuggets into someone who needs it. And we are hoping that this video series shows you that these wonderful mentors, these examples through different industries are showing us how important mentoring is, how vital it is, and how simple it is, how it's happening every day. Here's our little tidbit about mentoring to start, that effective mentoring depends on the successful match of the mentor and the mentee. And we see that in many areas, but our guest today, I think, will demonstrate that fairly well. And she comes from real estate. And there has to be a successful pairing between that realtor and that customer. So I hope you all are ready for Dana Hemphill of the Hemphill Real Estate Group. Now I'm going to bring her on and you all are going to clap. That's what we're going to do. So welcome. Cue the applause, cue the sound. And I want to thank you for coming and being our guest today. It is exciting to get a chance to learn about all these different industries and what mentoring looks like in your world. Now, you spent 6 years in mortgage lending before you branched out with your husband in starting the Hemphill Real Estate Group. Will you tell us a little bit about who you are and how you all branched out and what you do?
Yes, well, thank you again for the invitation. I'm excited to be here. And prior to mortgage industry, I was actually an insurance agent for 13 years.
Wow.
And decided that I kind of wanted to stay within the same realm of things. So kind of branched out into the mortgage industry and was a loan officer for about 5 years or so, and then assisted another loan officer. And then COVID hit.
That part.
Wasn't expecting it. We all know what came with COVID. Unfortunately, I lost my job during that time. My husband was furloughed for several months, and then he gets a call. He's fired. There's no law. The industry that he was in was struggling. They were going through very difficult times. So at that point, he lost his job. And so we're like, okay, God, what's next? What's next? And what's interesting is he was taking real estate classes probably 2 years prior, but kind of put it on the back burner. It was like, I'll take my time. I'll get back to it. And so one day he's just like, you know what about, do you want to get in this with me? Do you want to start you want to go to real estate class? And I'm like, well, it kind of sounds interesting. I never thought about it, but let's try it. Let's do it. He was already taking classes. So within probably a 6-week period, I finished all of my classes. He, at that point, had just passed his test and got his license. So then I'm at this point where, okay, now it's time for me to take my test and to pass. I'm extremely nervous. And it's not likely for people to really pass on the first try, right? The percentage is just not. So I had all of that going on in my mind. Well, went in, took the test, passed on the first try. And at this point, we're like, okay, God.
This is what we're doing.
So, and that was back in July of 2020. And so fast forward to what month? We're in March, right? Well, time is fast. We're in March. And we've literally been training while we work. Training and being mentored while we're doing the mentoring to our clients as well. So it's been a very interesting journey, to say the least. My husband, which he's the other half of Hemphill Real Estate Group, he is an extreme go-getter, right? So And one day you have to get, he should have had him on here with me because his brain is constantly on the move. He's already in probably 5 years from now. So, which is a good thing. So, with him being kind of steering the ship, and being able to just glean from
Mhm.
the people that are a part of the brokerage that we have, it's been an amazing thing. And so we just want to pass on, what the wealth of knowledge that we're receiving on a day-to-day basis.
Let me stop and point out something that you said. You've just given us a picture of what I'll call full circle mentoring, that you and your husband are being mentored, then you and
Yes,
your husband are mentoring, and then you and your husband exchange and sound off of each other. And so
absolutely.
I think that's a powerful thing, leaders. I hope you're paying attention that it's in the corporate structure, there's a tool that many of us have used, and it's 360-degree feedback, where people above you, people who report to you, all rate you. And there's just this full circle uh, attempt to give balanced feedback. And this, I think, kind of transfers into mentoring from what you're explaining. So tell us a little bit about what mentoring looks like in the Hemphill Real Estate Group with your clients.
Basically, it is an extension of our ministry. My husband is a pastor and I assist him with the ministry. So we look at our business as just an extension of that,
Mm-hmm.
helping, being helpful and being a resource to our
Mm-hmm.
clients. And our focus is to educate our clients regarding generational wealth. Bottom line, that is our goal, that is our passion,
Mm-hmm.
to educate on generational wealth, especially in our African American community. Our counterparts have been doing it for years.
Yeah.
They've been on game for years, and so just for lack of better terms, I think that specifically for my situation, I grew up in a single parent home. Right. And we didn't have a home. We lived from apartment to apartment to apartment. And so I take that, the way that I was raised and kind of went through that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
When I meet another single mom, my heart is just like, beating through my chest because I feel like this is an opportunity for me to not just educate them, but to feel where they are. I know where they've been. I'm able to empathize where they've been, and I have the sympathy for them, and to then walk them by the hand, step by step. And what's interesting, something that we always tell our clients, and I won't say this for all realtors, but if you come to a realtor and you say, well, I'm really not wanting to purchase a home until a year or 2 years later. Well, they say, well, God bless you. And
We'll see you then.
right. Well, with Hemphill Real Estate Group, no, we're with you through this journey, and we're going to walk with you and however long that may take. And because we understand, we haven't been homeowners our entire life. And so we've been able through real estate to learn the ins and outs, and then to transfer that to our clients, that information. And it's interesting because we have clients that say all the time, "Oh, y'all really broke this down, and I had no idea. This was the process." And so that's our passion.
You know what's another thing that you have just described is kind of this bridge that happens between realtor and client customer, that and 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 I was just about to ask, what is it that you and your husband bring to the table? You've listed already empathy
Mhm.
and endurance, that you both have this ability to kind of stick and stay with people. And that's an important trait. Would you add any other characteristics that you both bring to the table when mentoring your clients?
Long suffering, no. Patience.
That's true.
Yes, you have to have patience. And, everybody is different. You have to deal with every client
Mhm.
according to the knowledge of their scenario, their situation, and to be compassionate, at the same time. And I think that, um, again, because that's a part of our current ministry, it's just an extension, and it makes it a lot easier for us to, kind of stay in that same vein.
So flexibility,
Yes.
adaptability.
Yes, all of that. All
And
of
I
that.
and another thing that you are describing for us is, and this is a core factor of mentoring, that a lot of the mentoring exchange is sharing a bit of ourselves,
Right.
share allowing the experiences of our lives to inform
Yes.
our mentoring. And it
Yeah.
comes through being able to find a client or get in contact with a client whose present mirrors your experience, and you
Yeah.
can say, you know what, you can do this, you can
Yes.
do this. How have you seen your clients transform in this process from apartment dweller, renter, to homeowner? Because there's a mental shift that
Yeah.
happens there. Can you
Yeah.
explain how that, what you've seen?
I'll use one of my clients. And I'll use the word faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
And faith without works is completely dead.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a client that, wow, it's a major testimony because at one point, she decided that this is too much of a burden. I'm not going to be able to, accomplish the dream. And then COVID hit, and she's like, "Oh, I lost my second job." She had two jobs,
Oh
but
wow.
and so the interesting fact to that is, there was a home that came on the market. It was everything that she wanted, and long story short, we were able to. The appraisal came back, and it came back so much lower than what the initial listing price was. So I said all that to say things just started lining up.
That's awesome.
And the seller decided to assist in so many other ways. It kind of restored her faith, and we were there. We were present. We were present every time she wanted to give up. Feel it, she would allow fear to kind of come in and say, "Well, no, I don't think I'm ready." And we were like, "No, this is the time. We have the faith, and we truly believe that this house is for you." Long story short, everything went smooth sailing. She got the best interest rate, everything that she needed. Also, she has a mother that she takes care of. She's a caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to make accommodations for her mother. So many different things. It's a long testimony, but in
Wow.
this happened. We started house searching in September. She was in the home in November.
Wow.
She figured that it was going to take about a year, and the I have to say the Lord, because He works as well a lot. If you work with Him, and you start to do the things that you need to do. She did everything that we said, everything that the lender told her to do, and it came to pass. And we use her as our example to other clients, because it's possible. You
Yeah.
have being able to have the faith and believe and do something. You got to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
So faith plus putting in the work, it actually can come to pass.
I had a conversation with a girlfriend recently, and she was talking about uh, her mentor
Mhm.
and how similar they are, and how helpful her mentor is, and how she's challenged, and how she's being stretched. And she made a statement that I said, I'm going to use this for a long time, and I'm going to quote you. And she said she and her mentor agree, we're wonderful pushers, we're
Yeah,
horrible pullers.
that's
And that, isn't that good? And it
that's
sounds
so
like,
good.
people have to cooperate. And
Yes.
there is a wonderful um, international figure in business and in ministry, Bishop Tudor Bismarck. And has taught for years, mentors give you keys.
Yes.
How appropriate for a real estate for a real estate
Absolutely.
example.
We're
That
your cheerleaders.
keys,
Yeah.
yes, mentors help you realize, okay, I can do this, and there's this building of confidence. So leaders, I hope we understand that in mentoring, the people we mentor and serve through mentoring, they come to the table with some gifts, with some potential, and it's our job to maybe take those glasses off their face and maybe switch some lenses out or clean off the lenses they have and give them another picture. I'm so excited about Hemphill Real Estate Group. I'm low key working with them, y'all. So they're gonna find me some land, some land to homestead. We going
Yes.
old school with me,
Yes.
acres to get on there and build things out. So I'm so excited. Thank you for making time to share. And I hope also, I don't want to forget this, faith-based leaders. You heard some important words. You heard some important words through Dana Hemphill. And I hope that you were listening, that we are not bound
Yes.
by the walls of our faith or by the walls of our belief. If we don't ascribe to a faith, we're not bound by the walls of our beliefs. We can really transcend, we can really supersede the limits that have been placed on us and the limits that we even place on ourselves. And sometimes a mentor comes along to just go, and push us over the edge. So we're very excited for Hemphill Real Estate Group and all that you are doing in our community. And we look forward to seeing you all on these top performer lists and these number one rankings, so nationwide, so that we can see how mentoring builds generational wealth. So stay tuned. We'll be back with another mentor to learn from.